fancy. Well, hello there, Miss Kai.
Hello,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. I'm so happy to have you on our podcast today. Thanks for joining us.
Glad to
Kai
be
and
here.
I have known each other for how many years? Like
Oh
probably
gosh,
4 or 5?
4 or 5 years. Yes, we came
Yeah.
to some networking meeting I was at and talked about what you do for people, and I'm like, I need to hire that lady. So that's how we met.
Yeah, so we're friends and clients.
Uh-huh.
So that's awesome through BNI. So today we're talking everything video. So
Mm-hmm.
Kai and her husband Grant are videographers and they are amazing. They've done a lot of work for our clients and they have been doing it for how many years?
Oh, over 40, the two of us combined. We don't like to
Oh
give
my
specifics
gosh.
because, woman of a certain age and all that. But yeah, a long time.
Exactly. Yeah, that's
He
amazing.
started in the days of Betamax. That's how long
Some
ago.
of our audience is like, what is Betamax?
Oh, okay. That was, yeah. Anyway, a while ago.
Yeah, yeah. So what I'd love to hear from you today, because things have changed, right? In
Oh,
the
so
time
much.
of COVID. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So my first thought when this all hit was, oh my gosh, how are you going to do this in person? So we'll get to that.
Okay.
But first, I want to tell our audience kind of what are some misconceptions about video and marketing. Like what are some of the things that they automatically come back and say, well, I can't do that. Like what are some of their obstacles that you hear?
Okay. The number one obstacle that we hear is that people are afraid to be on camera. They're like super uncomfortable. They're sure it's going to show through when they speak on camera, and that fear keeps them from even giving it a try. What a lot of people don't know is that almost everyone is uncomfortable on camera, even professional actors and actresses. So it's just something one sort of gets used to, and that very seldom comes across the way we think it does. We almost always look better to other people than we do to ourselves, sound more like ourselves than we think we do. So that's one of the big things. And then another is just not knowing where to start, which is, how do I organize this? How can I possibly have enough time to get a video done? How do I make my room look good? So, and truthfully, if you hire a professional, we help you with pretty much all of that. And we might not clean your office for you, but we will rearrange it if needed so that we can get a nice professional looking background for the recording, as well as helping them plan the whole production out. That's not their job. Their job is to know their business and talk about it.
Yeah. And I imagine another problem is they just don't know what to say, right?
And there's that. When we do an interview with somebody, we'll we'll set up and write questions ahead of time, and then they can write the answers. But of course, that's also where a good marketing person comes in. They really don't know what to focus on. That being said, if someone doesn't know what to say, so often, once we're starting to talk about their business, it's more of a conversation than delivering a message in a 30-second commercial. And what's most important is that their personality comes across. People get a feel for who they are. They really care more about the feeling and the connection than the specific exact words that are used.
Yeah, kind of like having a casual conversation in a coffee shop or, with a good friend and just focusing on that one person that you're talking to, the perfect client. I know that I get stage fright just doing this too. So, but practice makes perfect, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
And
what are some of the mistakes? What are some of the egregious mistakes that you see in video marketing out there? Like, give me your best. What
oh
have
my
you
goodness.
seen?
Well, without pointing at anyone specific, people have really nice cameras on their phones these days. So they think, I have this really high definition camera, I can make my own recording. And that is true for things like, posting on LinkedIn, Facebook Live, stuff like that. But if someone's trying to shoot a professional video, reaching out to especially other businesses, the thing they forget is the audio.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
I mentioned Grant's years in the business. He's been an audio engineer for over 25 years. And the microphones in a camera, and simply not having a professional microphone like we're using right now, or even a headset that, plugs into your phone, that results in like that cave, like rattling around in a cave sound. And it's really easy to detect.
Hello. Yeah.
Yes. So there's a richness to professional audio equipment that you just can't get on the cheap or on your own. So That's where we come in.
there are some options though, right? I mean,
Oh,
to
yeah.
enhance it. Yeah.
There
Yeah.
definitely are options, and that's since COVID has occurred and we are unable to go out and record things live, or weren't for many months. We've done a lot of advising people over Zoom and other, video chats on how to set up their own audio equipment, what to buy, find out what their budget is, how technical are they? And then there are options everywhere from a simple plug-in mic to like your very own wired wireless lapel if you want to really spend some money. So
Yeah.
there are options, but I think the biggest mistake is people don't even think about that. They're like, well, it's a phone, I can hear myself. So we need to get clean audio if it's going to go out into the professional world.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned COVID. So
I did.
video, tell me about the options that people have in the time of COVID, since you can't really you can meet up with them right now, but what are some alternatives that they might not have thought of, like, for instance, long distance testimonials? Like, what kind of projects are you guys working on virtually?
Wow. Let's see, when COVID first hit, we did a virtual award show. So there were like 19 winners, and they each had to submit their own winner's video that went into a half an hour pre-produced program that also had, we were voicing it over. So there was that live event feel, but it was all pre-recorded. So things like that, where it's a combination of do-it-yourself recording and professional editing. Another thing is we've been doing video tours. So depending on the phase that we're in, depends on where we can go to record. But the tours don't necessarily involve someone speaking on camera. And as long as you don't have someone talking at you, so, without a mask on, then it's safer because you're not, the germs aren't being spread. You're just wearing masks and shooting video. And then, and once, so in the state of Washington, when we had hit the phase where photographers, which is what videographers fall under, could record groups of like 2 people, then we show up. But we always try to keep the speakers, if they're not of the same household, they're going to be speaking on camera one at a time. We never want to have people that aren't in the same household, near the same microphone. Right. So it creates some challenges. We might wind up using a boom mic instead of a lapel, so we're not getting so close to the person. Yeah. But we always we have ways, but it has been a challenge, and it changes the way you record too, because people have to decide: do they want to do a video showing people in masks that may be valid, we thought, for 6 weeks, now for a long time?
That's actually a great, yeah, that's a great point, because things will be different in 6 months, right?
Theoretically. We thought this in April when we did somebody's video, and then it really hasn't changed yet. That might have been May or June. I don't want to get myself in trouble here, but sometime when it was warm. That's the thing I remember, because there was no air conditioning where that client was.
So tell me about, because you guys are coaches as well. You coach people through their script and what their intention is for the video. The videos types that I'm thinking of for small businesses are testimonials, maybe product demos. You've done a couple of those for us. You mentioned tours. I call them speaking head videos, but that's not the nicest way to call them. But when you're interviewing team members or maybe the president or something like that, what are some tips that you have for those specific types of videos when you're interviewing the president or the leadership team or team members? What are some tips that you can help them kind of just relax? And it's a 90-second video, right? Typically.
Okay. Yes, 90 to 2 minutes. If it's going to be 2 minutes, though, you generally want to have some B-roll. And B-roll are those visuals that people see that is somebody speaking, but it kind of it will enhance the message. So what we do there for if we're doing the interview, then we now do Zoom coaching ahead of time. So we'll run people through the interview as a rehearsal, but they don't have to bring us on site. So there's a huge cost savings to doing something over Zoom than, say, driving into downtown Seattle and finding parking. So the new Zoom friendly world has actually made it easier for people to have us coach them. If they're doing it themselves, some of the things to think about are you going to be speaking directly to the camera? Or are you going to be looking off to the side as if you were doing an interview on a documentary? If you're looking off to the side, you have the advantage of being able to look at notes. Please don't write the whole thing down and use a script, but you can look at your notes much more easily and unobtrusively than if you're looking straight at the camera. Those things also give a different feel. If I'm looking straight at the camera, it's more conversational, but depending on the message, it can also feel more salesy, like come down to our car lot and buy something now. Whereas if you're over here, well, we do sell used cars. And we do it very kindly. So you see the difference in how that's, for the people who are watching this opposed to listening to it, I was looking off camera and straight at the camera.
Yeah, I got to stop you right there and ask you, because that, when I first saw that, I thought it was kind of weird to me, and I don't know why, because it was like you're not really interviewing someone, but someone off camera is asking questions.
Correct.
And they're looking out of the camera, but you don't see the two people together. But you think that's more effective because it's not as direct and salesy?
I think it depends on the message somebody's trying to get across and the feel they want to get across. If you want the feeling of this is about the company. It's a documentary almost. If you think of anything you've ever seen on the Science Channel or Discovery Channel, you see those interviews, they're almost never looking at the camera. Usually the interviewer is off to the side. If you want to be having a communication, like a one-on-one, like, hi, my name is so-and-so, when I do this, this is how I can help you, then you want to be looking at the camera, because saying that off to the camera, hi, I'm Kai, I can help you, and I'm not looking at you, feels very off-putting.
Yeah.
You just want to avoid the over-the-top salesiness that can happen if you speak too enthusiastically to it still needs to be conversational when you're looking straight at the camera.
Let's talk about testimonial videos, because those are super powerful, right? You can put them on your website, you can put them on YouTube, you can use them in social media, on Google My Business. What are some tips for small business owners to maybe ask for these, set them up? Like, what's the magic that will help them get more of these in the can, so to speak?
One of these, a really good idea actually came from a client of ours. We shot her video professionally, but she's doing the testimonials remotely, and her clients are like big time CEOs. And she realized that they were not ever going to quite get around to doing that recording. So what she did is she set up a Zoom call with them, asked them the questions she wanted them to answer in the testimonials. She recorded it and sent it to us. So making that extra effort to reach out and record someone, we can edit out her half of the conversation. So it just shows the testimonial. And then another general comment is, if there are specific things, and I'm sure you tell your clients this too, specific things that you want the person to say in the testimonial, give them a clue. If somebody says, oh, they were awesome to work with, I had so much fun doing it, but what you really need them to say is, and it doubled my business because suddenly people are coming to my website and calling me. That might be more important for other people to hear. So no matter how fun you are to work with, if what you need someone to say is, it got me results, let the people know that that's one of the things you'd like them to include, as long as it's true.
So I love that idea, because not only does it allow you to it's super easy for the person giving the testimonial, right? They just show up for the Zoom call. But what you're saying is, me as the business owner, I don't have to interview them. I can just give you guys the questions and you're interviewing them, or did I hear that wrong?
That is an option we haven't done yet. But the way this one client did it is she actually contacted her clients. They, like I said, they're bigwigs. They didn't want someone they didn't know calling them. But because she set it up, they met that time commitment and gave her the 5 minutes to do the testimonial. So what she did is made it easy for them. Of course, if somebody wanted us to contact their clients and record them over Zoom, we would. We'd even advise them on their setup before they got started.
Yeah.
But yes, just another thing about being flexible in our newly structured world. Yeah.
Yeah. So talk to me about some of your projects. One of them that comes to mind is you did a video for Dingfelder's where you have the camera over a shot of him slicing the corned beef for his amazing sandwiches, his New York deli style sandwiches. And that is on the header of the website. And it sucks you in, right? It gets your juices flowing.
Absolutely. And I think that one we did, I think it was July. That might have been the first one where we went out once we were allowed to. And it was it was really amazing. I will say we got to eat some of the samples. So big shout out to Dingfelder's, big fan here. But what they wanted to do, he was building a new website and he wanted people to be drawn in the second they got there. So he shows the assembly of the sandwich. And then we did one of those beauty shots where the camera rotates around the sandwich at the end and you can just see how delicious it is.
Beauty shot for a sandwich. I love
it. You can tell we're talking right before lunch. And so and actually, funny you should mention that because he was the one of my favorite testimonials. He said it was, he needed something to bring people in during the pandemic. He had just opened his indoor restaurant and he was having to go back to a walk-up window and delivery. And he said that the video was a game changer for his business. And that's what we want to hear. We want to hear that we did something for someone and it helped him stay in business, keep his employees with jobs and feed people wonderful food. So
that's a great
story. I love that project. Thank you.
Yeah, I love that. Because we do know how important video is to create an emotional connection with your consumer. I think communication, they say it's 92% is visual. And so when you can have a video like that on your website to really create that, wow, I need to have this sandwich now, right? Is amazing. So we develop websites here at Fingerprint Marketing. So you and I have had this chat before. How important is video to marketing your business?
I think for almost every business, it's super important, whether it's the visuals of the mouthwatering sandwich, whether it's getting the personality across, and even, whether a tour where you can see things, photographs are one thing, but video is something else. When you're talking about that emotional connection, as I've been talking to various people in the marketing world and how they advise their clients to use video, it's been over and over. The thing I hear is that immediate emotional connection. And sometimes, like I talked to you, we did a podcast a few weeks ago where I was interviewing, and it's that concept that we are. And I'm trying to, it's that mimicry that we have as humans. You see someone smile and you smile. You see someone crying, you feel sad. So you can get that kind of connection on video, which is not the same as being there. But in some ways in our world, like being able to see someone's whole face instead of like their face covered with a mask, it can provide a similar connection to being there in person. And then they care about you and they might care about your business and they might pick up the phone or, email. So...
and it sometimes it's the difference between someone actually reaching out to you versus your competitors. I have video on my website, and I ask people, what made you pick up the phone and call Fingerprint Marketing, because we're in a very competitive market, and they're like, it was your video, just because they could tell by the personality and the interview that it was someone that they wanted to work with. Now that doesn't work with everyone. Obviously everyone has different personalities, but it could just be that difference between standing out from your competitors. And SEO is, so search engine optimization, Google awards videos massively. They love video because they own YouTube. So there you go. And YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. So
exactly. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and one of the things that video can also do is save people time, both in the sense of, okay, so somebody called you because they liked your personality. Maybe somebody who sees my video and they're like, she's not my type. And then we don't spend a couple of hours figuring out whether we can work together. Or maybe she sees my video and says, now there is someone I want to work with. So it's kind of a sorting hat for the Harry Potter people out there to figure out who's your best match. And then, so another client of ours, she's she does fundraising events for nonprofits. And she used to get so many calls for, but can you do my wedding? And she's like, no, I only do fundraisers for nonprofits. And her 3-minute video explains what she does, what she doesn't do, gives you a feel for her personality. And I love her story, which is after she had our video, after we produced her video for her, she got the biggest client of her career to date. And they said it's because your video made you look so much more professional than your competition. So the video just gave her that edge.
Great. That's a great testimonial.
Thank you.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I love your idea of filtering out people that are not a match for your business based on that. So again, it's very crowded and noisy, right, out in the market. So if you can get straight to the point through video, that's even better. Another question, well, same question I had before, but what are the biggest mistakes that you see people making outside of audio and, being nervous? Let me rephrase that. Are there ways that I can do video for my small business where I don't have to be on camera aside from the tours? Like give the audience some ideas for video.
Sure. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent question. A couple of examples actually come through clients of yours. So we did one for someone who had invented a new fishing rod and reel. And we just did a product video. He dropped the product off, showed us how to use it, and then we recorded and did a voiceover. And then another one wanted to tell the history of their company. And unfortunately, the octogenarian that was going to tell the story of his company that had been around since the 60s, his health was failing. And so we used photographs and voiceovers and some video that we had taken on site of the historic equipment. It was an engineering company. And that made a beautiful, almost documentary style video for them in like 2 minutes. And then so if people don't want to be on camera speaking, but they only want to be shown doing things, we did one for a dog trainer. So she's excellent with the dogs, terrified to speak on camera. She was able to basically say hello in a few sentences, and then the rest of it she voiced over. So we recorded her speaking, but she didn't have to speak on camera. As someone who started off very shy on camera myself, I actually have a lot of tricks up my sleeve, either for feeling better on camera or for getting around being on camera.
Yeah. That's great. I love that. And you can also do screencasts on your computer if you're showing someone demonstrating, right? Or you can voice over demonstrating of the products like you mentioned. I just want to take a few minutes to talk about the tech side because that seems to be the first thing that people obsess about, right? It's not necessarily, what am I going to say or how am I going to look, but I need the best mic. I need all this fancy equipment. So if for the DIYers out there, what are some options for audio and video that you recommend?
The main thing to think of when you're thinking about video, because most of us have cameras with high definition cameras. Phones with high definition cameras.
Yeah.
The thing to think about the most is stability. So if I'm going to take my camera, my phone, and use my camera in here, I need to have it on a tripod made for a phone. I don't want to be holding it because no matter if I'm a surgeon, I'm still going to have just a little handshake the longer I hold my camera. And that might not look much to you, but to somebody watching the video, it will give them vertigo. So think stability. Even if you have someone holding the camera for you, don't have them hold it up here. Have them lean it on something, like rest their hands on the back of a chair and record you if that's the only option you have. But any kind of tripod, I think we have one from a company called Mopal that we got online for like $20. It even has an extender, so you can raise it a little bit above you and get that nice sort of selfie stick look.
Yep.
Another thing to think about is lighting. And while Fresnel's and the other professional studio lights still do cost hundreds to thousands of dollars, a simple LED that you can put on an inexpensive tripod and tell it what color of light you need it to be. By that, I mean, so sunlight is one color, overhead, fluorescence or indoor lights is a different one. So you want to match that temperature color. It's something you can Google. But the LED lights might be between $20 and $30, and they have all these adjustments. And it's really important to have enough light in video. So if you take a photograph, you can enhance that a bit on your photo program. But if you don't have enough light in video, there's not much you can do. So make sure that
you get that kidnapped look, right?
Exactly. Yes. Put the little black thing over your eyes. And then, so I'm going back.
Audio.
What was the audio? Yes. So I'm using, so if you're staying in one place, your microphone looks fabulous. You probably paid more than $99 for it. But this little guy here is $99. It plugs it in with a USB. So it's very low tech, and being not Bluetooth, it is a lot less vulnerable to passing airplanes and accidentally connecting to your iPad when you wanted it to talk to your computer, which are things that happens with Bluetooth. And then there are also very inexpensive wired lapel mics. So you can get all kinds of things online. Yes. And the main reason for the wired lapel, one is anything that is wired is less likely to pick up interference from around, whether it's a radio station, if anyone still listens to the radio, or other household noises going on. But the other is a wireless lapel. The kind of thing we use on a video shoot is going to run you upwards of $700 to $1,000 to get a good quality
Wow.
one. So if the video you're doing can possibly involve not moving around much, get a wired microphone.
And then for editing, there's so many different softwares out there, even on your phone, right? You can download video editing apps and so forth.
I'm sure that you can. We use Final Cut Pro, and so we don't really dabble that much in the others.
Yeah.
But certainly there are things that are out there that people can use. Some things come with your computer, some don't. So yes, because I have a 27-inch Mac with a professional editing system, I don't spend much time checking those out. But I'm sure that anybody listening to this might have some ideas.
Media, right?
Or just hire us, sure. But so we're always happy to edit other people's footage as well, and that's something we have wound up doing an awful lot during the pandemic. Even the project we did for our losing a headphone here that we did for our networking group, everybody sent in their video clips, and we put it all together and did some audio engineering so it sounded better. So there are, I guess it's a hybrid. Like they're starting to have hybrid events that are partially virtual and partially in person. We can do hybrid video and coach people how to do it. You record it, you send it to us, we make it look and sound more professional.
That's amazing. Well, Kai, this has been very informational. Whether you do video for DIY style, your own video, or you hire a company like Magnus Media and Kai and Grant, just remember that video is not. It's no longer a would be nice to have or sure we'll get to it someday. It's here now. And it's really an important tool in your toolbox. And I think you agree, Kai. So if anyone wants to get more tips from you, where can they get more tips?
Good. Okay, excellent. We have on our website a download that you can get. So go to magnusmediavideo.com. It's Magnus, Magnus, media, media, video.com, and then / on camera tips, on dash camera dash tips. And you can download our new mini ebook, which is top 5 most popular video tips that you probably won't find elsewhere.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. I'll have that in the show notes. And then if anyone else wants to reach out to you, where can they find you?
The best place is on our website that Fingerprint Marketing made for us, so check it out. It's magnusmediavideo.com. And then there's a contact sheet and they can get a hold of us. I'm also on LinkedIn, so that's a long thing that we can put in the show notes.
Great. Well, thank you, Kai. I appreciate it. And great video, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.